Good day. I am going to talk about Republic Act 7192, or the Women in Development and Nation Building Act. So this Republic Act 7192 is an act promoting the integration of women as full and equal partners of men in development and nation building and for other purposes. Well, during the early years, women were not entitled to the same rights and privileges as of men. Women were not even allowed to vote and were usually required to surrender all of their property to their husband upon marriage. Moreover, their educational and occupational opportunities were severely limited. It was commonly believed that a woman's place was in the home, raising children and tending to domestic affairs. While women's greater role in nation building can lead to economic and political stability in post-conflict countries, so women's participation in post-conflict nation building is an important ingredient in achieving an equitable, peaceful, and a more prosperous society. So the state recognizes the role of the women in nation building and shall ensure the fundamental equality before the law of women and men. The state shall provide women rights and opportunities equal to that of men. So this Republic Act sets into motion the allocation of a certain percentage of official development assistance for gender concerns. The law has likewise been the starting point of what is now known as the Gender and Development Budget Policy. So it specifically mandates all government departments, offices, bureaus, and agencies to set aside at least 5% of their total budget. In this RA 7192 was then signed into law by then President Corazon C. Aquino on 12 February 1992. Now, how are we going to attain the policy? Number one, a substantial portion of funds received from foreign governments and multilateral agencies and organizations shall be set aside and utilized by the agencies concerned to support programs and activities for women. 2. All government departments shall ensure that women benefit equally and also participate directly in the development programs and projects of said department, specifically funded under official foreign development assistance to ensure the full participation and involvement of women in the development process. All government departments and agencies shall review and revise all the regulations, circulars, issuances, and procedures to remove gender bias therein. Who is responsible agency? So the National Economic and Development Authority, or the NEDA, as stipulated in Section 3, shall be the one responsible for ensuring the participation of women as recipients in foreign aid, grants, and loans. It shall determine and recommend the amount to be allocated to the development activity involving women. The mandate in Section 4, with the assistance of the National Commission on the Role of Filipino Women, the NEDA shall ensure that the different government departments, including its agencies, instrumentalities, which directly or indirectly affect the participation of women in national development and their integration therein, number one, formulate and prioritize rural or countryside development programs. One, it specifically provides income and employment opportunities to women in rural areas and thus prevent their heavy migration from rural, urban, or a foreign country. Number two, it includes an assessment of the extent to which their programs and their projects. So, number two integrates women in the development process of the impact of said programs or projects in women, including their implications in enhancing the self-reliance of women in order to improve their income. Number three, it ensures the active participation of women and women's organizations in the development programs and or projects. So number three, this includes their involvement in the planning, design, implementation, management, monitoring, and the evaluation thereof of these organizations and projects. Number 4, it assists women in activities that are of critical significance to their self-reliance and development. So this is proportionate to either their traditional participation in the targeted activities of their proportion of the population, whichever is higher. Otherwise, the following should be stated in the program or paper, proposal, or strategy. Section 5, equality in capacity to act. So, women of legal age, regardless of civil status, shall have the capacity to act and to enter into contracts which shall in every respect be equal to that of men under similar circumstances. So women shall have the capacity to borrow and obtain loans and execute security and credit arrangement under the same conditions as men. So in all contractual situations where married men have the capacity to act, married women shall also have equal rights. So, number 2, women shall have equal access to all government and private sector programs granting agricultural credit, loans, and non-material resources, and shall enjoy equal treatment in agrarian reform and land resettlement programs. So, as I have said, those rights given to men will also be granted to that of women. So it may be in the government or the private sector programs. Number 3, women shall have equal rights to act as incorporators and enter into insurance contracts. Number 4, married women shall have rights equal to those of married men in applying for passport, secure visas, and other travel documents without need to secure the consent of their husbands or their spouses. So in all of these similar contractual relations, women shall enjoy equal rights as of men and shall have the capacity to act, which shall in every respect be equal to those of men under similar circumstances. Section 6, equal membership in clubs. So women shall also enjoy equal access to membership in all social, civic, and recreational clubs, committees, associations, and similar other organizations devoted to public purpose. They shall be entitled the same rights and privileges accorded to their spouses if they belong to the same organizations. Section 7, admission to military schools. So any provision of the law to the contrary notwithstanding consistent with the needs of the services, women shall be accorded equal opportunities for appointment, admission, training, graduation, and commissioning in all military or similar schools of the Armed Forces of the Philippines and the National Police. Not later than the 4th academic year following their approval of this act in accordance with the standards required for men, except for those minimum essential adjustments required by physiological differences between sexes. Section 8, voluntary pag-ibig, GSIS, and SSS coverage. So, married persons who devote full time to managing the household and family affairs shall, upon working spouse's consent, be entitled to voluntary pag-ibig or pagtutulungan ikaw, bangko, industriya at gobyerno, GSIS, or the Government Service Insurance System, and Social Security System, SSS coverage. So to the extent they have 1/2 of the salary and compensation of the working spouses, the contributions due thereon shall be deducted from the salary of the working spouse. So in the case of the GSIS or the SSS, they shall issue rules and regulations necessary to effectively implement the provisions of this section. That is all for our topic on RA 7192. Thank you.